Hi, everybody. This is Nick again with the Language Journey podcast. This is episode 3. And in this one, I'm going to talk to you guys about probably the single most powerful thing you can do on your own, at home, to seriously improve your language fluency. And I'm not just talking in terms of vocabulary. I'm talking in terms of grammar, obviously vocabulary, fluency, and even pronunciation. So what I'm about to say might not sound revolutionary at all. And in fact, it's not. That's the beauty of it, is that oftentimes the most important and useful ideas are not new. People have already said them and talked about them for hundreds of years, possibly even thousands of years, actually. So it's reading out loud. Yeah, I just said it. All right. This is something that most people, and I've even seen online, other language coaches and teachers say, oh my God, this is not useful at all. Well, maybe they're not doing it in the right way. So here's the method I use with my coachees and my students. You get yourself a text. Ideally, I'd say a novel, a good novel, because you want to be careful with what information you consume, of course. Now, I really like a book called Freakonomics. Why? Because it's a beautiful combination of excellent vocabulary, great ideas, short, relatively bite-sized chapters, and written in a way that truly mimics human speech. And what is writing, after all, but talking on paper? I'm already getting ready for people to say something to me. But you know what? It's true. All the greatest writers write as if they're talking on paper, as if they're talking to you. That's why we love it so much. We even feel guilty, like, wow, this is so enjoyable, it's probably not healthy. But it is. Applicable to many parts of our lives. All right. So you got to get a book which is really well written. And by well written, I mean it should mimic human speech. And what is human speech? Other than a combination of ideas, and pauses. That's it. What are the pauses? Punctuation marks. So that's the first thing. Learn the different punctuation marks. It's not that complicated. You've got commas, and of course the spaces between words. That's the shortest pause. Commas would be the second longest, second shortest. Then you've got semicolons, colons, periods, paragraph breaks. I mean, poetry makes use of this all the time. But the rules still apply in prose. So, basically, every sentence is a breath of air. Right? Just like when we're talking, and if we're talking well so that people can understand us, every sentence should be a breath of air. Not just for us, but for the other person to be able to process what we just said. So, it does not matter if you understand what you're reading. Yeah, that's the first one. This is the one everybody's, what? Yes. Start to read out loud using your best pronunciation, but really you're just guessing. Even native speakers guess. But after a while, you start to be able to extrapolate, which is a fancy way of guessing. But that doesn't matter. What you really, really care about first are the pauses. Try to follow the pauses correctly. And it should be like a wave. You start off, and then as you come to the last part of the of the sentence, you let out the rest of your air, and you take a deep breath, and you start the new one. It's like your swimming laps, right? You breathe in, 1, 2, and as you are, okay, I don't know the terms for the swimming, but as you are swimming, moving your arms, you're letting out air underneath the water, so that when you finally come back up, you're ready to take another deep breath of air. So that's it. You're swimming and you're reading, and they're both breathing. And my father would be proud of me because he says his answer to everything is just take a deep breath. Although he's probably right. More and more stuff is coming out that validates the wisdom of the ancients. Anyway, then pay attention to the punctuation marks. Okay. Do that for a while until you've got that pretty clear. Next up, try to pronounce things as best as you can. Don't worry. Don't worry about pronouncing it wrong. If you do, you'll end up saying it and somebody will correct you, or you'll hear it on TV or on a podcast or wherever. Or you could even get the audiobook of the book you're reading and then read along with it too. Okay, and that's even better because the audiobooks are narrated by professional narrators, which is really just people who are really good at following the punctuation marks. Okay. And yeah. So, yeah, reading is like swimming. It's an endurance sport that relies on correct breathing. And when you do it correctly, you make it really clear to others that you're finished. For example, thank you for listening to this podcast. Stay tuned for the next. Right? You noticed? I just said it really clear at the very end. Maybe not even as clear as I should have. Let's put some more emphasis. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Breath. Stay tuned for the next. That's better. All right. Make it crystal clear for me. Paint a picture for me with silences and emphasis. Use as many colors as possible. Colors in terms of pauses and tones and stuff. But that will come later. For now, just focus on the correct breathing and the rhythm. Later on, we can talk about prosody. And we can talk about different tones. And all the different ways that you can bring it in. And you know what? I'll just throw in a tip right here. For example, quotation marks or italics. What are those? Those are just ways for them to communicate sarcasm or emphasis or bold. That's all it is, guys. Learn to follow these instructions and the program will run smoothly. All right. Hope this was useful. Catch you guys later.